Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to Fast Times LeBeau Racing Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Smith, and today I have David and Dylan LeBeau and a special guest, my daughter, Jordan Smith. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
How's it going?
Good. So, it's been about 3 weeks this go-around. We've had a couple of really exciting weeks. The last one we're going to save for Jordan. So now let's talk about a couple weeks ago for your truck race.
Yeah, just a regular 25-lap night for us. Kind of, I'm not going to say been neglecting the truck, but have had a lot of other focuses, if that's a word.
That's fair.
If that's a way to put it. But kind of we're just underprepared in a sense almost. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, I wouldn't say underprepared. I would to follow up what you're saying is it's difficult to win in one division.
Yeah.
And we're fielding 3 or 4 cars. Mm-hmm. So and there's only a few of us that work on them. So with the trucks not running all the time, and then we're not doing a lot of testing during the week because we really don't have time.
When you've had some tests days that were canceled too, so that makes it harder.
And it's great when the track offers it, and we love to go down and do it. But you can rent the racetrack, and some of those teams do that, and it's a huge advantage because you get to spend 2 or 3 hours with your truck, try different setups, try different springs, different shocks, different wedge, and find out what works the best for you. We haven't utilized that.
Sure. So
I wouldn't say the word neglect. I would just say, we just, like Dylan said, we have a lot of irons in different fires. But the overall, I thought, we came prepared. Wasn't stuff falling off the truck.
Yeah.
But for speed wise, we definitely need to step our game up. Mm-hmm. So we can continue.
Yeah. Heat race. I think there was 2 heats. Kind of got off to a slower start and got one position, was going to pass for the next, and just had a little contact off the corner. Had a big slide, and that let all the positions that I gained go right back by me. Yeah. And there wasn't that many laps left, so I just finished there. I think it was 5th or 6th.
Well, and you mentioned there was 2 heats. There was actually a really good turnout of the trucks, I thought. It was like 15 or 16 trucks, I think.
Yeah, I think
the trucks
to
have
20.
Yeah, the trucks have really supported New Smyrna Speedway, and it's the Ashley Holmes. Holmes out of Jacksonville sponsors it, and that's an extra incentive to come. A lot of those trucks that we race with, they race other tracks, so they have to change their gearing to come to New Smyrna. So it's they're working on their stuff, and it shows. And there was a good turnout. It's competitive, and it was. I'm not going to say rough race, but everybody it was all take and no give.
Yeah, absolutely.
From what I could see, and you had your hands full, and so did everybody else. The track was super warm that day too.
Yeah.
You were sliding around a bunch. So you got a little bit of contact, and that pretty much sealed the deal for that run. You were able to come back, and we could talk about what changes we wanted to make, for the feature.
Yeah, and getting back on the contact, we were pretty much the whole field was nose to
Everybody
tails.
was.
So if I had a little wiggle, that someone's right behind me, blowing right by.
Yeah,
me.
they were.
No,
everybody
no
was
time to
waiting
really,
for. Everybody was waiting for an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys look like Talladega or Daytona. Everyone was just so close together in speed, and so it didn't take much for that. But it didn't see anything. By no means was there anyone wrecking anybody or whatever. It's just you're going to get them scuffed up a little bit. So you want to be a pretty boy. Probably not, or pretty girl. Probably not in division for you. You're going to have to get up on the wheel and drive them sideways and drive them hard.
Yeah. So then moving on to features, started pretty far back. I want to say 12th or so, and really was just a lot of dodging crashes and trucks that were off the pace. I had a couple times had to go 3 wide on the back stretch, and I remember one time I went 3 wide through the middle, and then they spin going into 3, so I'm dodging people while I'm 3 wide. So definitely made it interesting. and had one long run where on the restart I gained about 2 spots. But after about 3 laps, I lost both of them, and I noticed, man, the truck's starting to get really tight. The truck usually doesn't do that. Normally it gets looser and looser and looser as the run goes on, sliding on the right rear, but I kept getting tighter. So I had a weird feeling in general. It's like, this isn't normal. The truck normally doesn't react that way.
And I think about the time that you're talking about, I think you had made it up to like 5th or 6th.
Yeah, we had made some gains. A lot of it was just dodging and surviving, but we made some gains throughout the race was going on, but then I started falling back and getting tighter and tighter, and then eventually with about 4 to go, I want to say, we had
it was towards the end of the run.
Had a caution and went to go green, and the truck went straight, didn't turn, and right front was flat, and that ended our night right there.
Yep. So that was it. I mean, not much you could do with 4 to go. Even if you could have got back to me quick enough to make the tire change, we wouldn't have gained the track position back. It's too late in the race. And not only you had problems, I believe the 59 truck, was very strong, she had an issue with her tires. So there might have been some debris on the racetrack.
Yeah,
you guys
we ended
and
up,
gals are picking up.
When we got back in, found a piece of it. It looked like a broken off rivet.
Yep.
In the right front. So.
Yep. So some body support stuff and stuff like that was on the racetrack, and you can't see it. You're just racing hard. So I believe the 5 truck had an issue. I seen him in the pits.
Yeah.
They're usually a really strong runner. The 99 truck started 17th. Interesting story. We got a chance to meet him, Mr. Levance.
Yep, the day after.
The day after, they came out to the racing experience, and his daughter did a drive. Super nice people, and he started from 17th, and he pretty much made a march to the front. I mean, he put on a clinic on how to. If you watch his in-car camera, it's a little bit disjointed, but if you watch it, you can see he had a very strong truck through the center and down the chute. And through the center just makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait on it. It really helps. So, so congratulations to those guys and gals. They did a great job. It was nice meeting them. And we're going to take this setup that we're working with now, and we're going to try to definitely step our game up, and get you better. So I feel like that might be a little bit on my end. I got to put more stuff forward to you to try more stuff. We're used to what worked last year. Last year, there's only 5 or 6 trucks.
Yeah.
So we look like heroes. Now we have 15 to 18 trucks.
Yeah.
And we're running about 4th or 5th. The past 2 races, you've been 4th or 5th. So we need to find a little bit more.
Yeah.
So it just challenges me to work harder and you too, and I know you do all you can do behind the wheel, but we like to run up front, so we're going to continue to make changes and try some stuff, So that's kind of how that went,
Yeah.
And I know you guys said that you went ahead and just brought it in because there wasn't that many laps.
There was
left.
no use.
Yeah,
there was no use. If we bounce this back and forth all the time after we get done racing. If Dylan would have stopped and brought out the caution, and then we come in, change our tire under caution, we still got to start at the end of the longest line.
Right. Yeah.
And there's still 16, 17 trucks, right? That were still running at the end. I don't remember. Maybe there was 12. But to pass 12 trucks in 4 laps.
Yeah.
I don't think probably would have been cautions, like they say, cautions breed more cautions.
Right.
So Dylan decided I'm going to bring the caution out. Just bring it to me under green. And I just told him, I said, Dylan, there's no sense going back out.
Right. No, I think it was a good call.
Yeah. There really is no sense because there's going to be more stuff going on and possibility of tearing up your stuff.
Right.
We weren't going to be in the money. We weren't going to be on the podium. So at this point, let's just take it back to the trailer. It's in one piece. It just got a flat tire, and we can work on it from there.
Right.
So that's kind of old school experience. Telling the young guy that's enough. It's not we weren't running for points. We don't run for points in that division. We just do it to keep Dylan driving, And of course, it's a different animal from the modifieds, the sportsmans to the trucks. So a lot of stuff that works on those cars doesn't jive at all with the trucks. So we're learning. We're on the learning curve on the truck side.
Right.
So you want to add to that at all? How does a truck drive differently to you than the modified?
The truck is like more boaty in a sense, where the modified, you turn the wheel, it's right there. Right. It's super twitchy, super responsive in a sense. Where the truck, like,
but it's got to be fun to race with all those trucks.
It is a lot of fun. I enjoy high car counts, close racing. It's like the Sportsman. The Sportsman, I had a ton of fun racing that. And it's the same deal with the truck. It's just more like driving a boat.
Right.
It's not responsive. It takes a second for it to turn.
Right.
For it to, when it jumps sideways, you got so much time to just slide it.
Right.
And well, it usually doesn't jump. The modified, when it gets sideways, it's usually a snap.
Right.
It snaps sideways.
It's just more of a slower.
It's a slower slide. Yeah.
Is that the right word I'm thinking of?
Yep.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, it's still a good experience for you, and it's a great, like I said, it's a great division, and it's a strong division in Florida.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I wish we could do a little more traveling with the shorter tracks and get you more time in it. But maybe next season, So, but we definitely are going to get that truck faster. That's my goal. That's, I know I've been saying that, but I don't like running 5th or 6th.
Makes two of us.
I don't like that. So, we're going to get it better. We're going to figure out what they're doing, what we need to do to find it. It's just some little recipe we're missing. Yeah. So we'll find it.
So explain to me a little bit, like the difference between what they call the Pro Truck and the E-Mod. The E-Mod is a little bit more customized on the setup and stuff?
Well, the E-Mod's a purpose-built race car, 3-link or 4-link or torque arm or whatever rear suspension, you could do a monoleaf, whatever. You have all the adjustability in that particular race car. Whereas the Pro Truck, it's based off of a metric Monte Carlo frame.
Okay.
So the rear of it's the 4-link, stock 4-link stuff. So you don't have the adjustability. It's solidly mounted, so you have to use kind of what you have there. So there's some teams that have it figured out. They know the angles, they know the frame heights, they know the spring and shock package, and it shows. It shows right away. So we have to find that because, we have a baseline and we work off of that, but we need to go outside the box. We need to find out what makes that thing tick to really get it around the racetrack.
Right.
Whether it be more wedge or whether it be less rear percentage or whether it be crazy spring rates. We got to just throw some stuff at it and let Dylan just drive it and say, hey, I like that, and the stopwatch doesn't lie. It'll tell you if it's going better.
So for a novice like myself, or maybe some other people are wanting to know too, if you were getting into racing, the level you would really want to start off in a truck then versus a E-Mod?
Well, yeah.
Or does it? Would it really matter?
Different animals. You need to start out where they can afford it really, and it depends on your how technical you want to be, but in each one of those divisions you have people that excel in it, and there's teams and there's professionals that help set up those race cars, and they're good to talk to and find out. We started Dylan in the trucks, but right away we didn't have enough races for him to keep driving. That's why I put him in the modified.
Right.
Well, then the modifieds really took off this season with a lot of races. If you remember last season, it rained a lot.
Right. Yeah.
We had a lot of rainouts, and it started off with a hurricane, did it not? Remember, because the track wasn't able to run because there was a underlining surface issue that they were concerned with. So, but this season, they've had the E-Mods really running a lot of races. So I don't want to say our focus has only been that, but that's where it's been getting the most attention, I guess. I guess you would say it would be more focused on that because he's in the points lead. He's driving a couple different cars for Bobby and then our car. So, but for someone that's starting out, just like that has no idea what to do, just the Bombers is a great division to get into. There seems to be a lot of them. They seem to be having a blast out there. There's some rules to keep them all honest, if you will. If you break out of a certain time thing, you have to come down pit road and start from the back again. So that would be someone that just wanted to get their feet wet, where you could try. But I put them right into the frying pan, And I put him right in there during speed weeks. His first race was right there during speed weeks. So I figured he's either going to love this or he's going to hate it.
Yeah, that was definitely the hot seat.
Yeah, so like if you can make it through speed weeks at New Smyrna, those nights, as busy as it is, and as many cars as and still love racing, working it, you're in it, because the rest of it's going to be easy at that point.
Yeah, I was talking with someone at the track, and he was like, "Do you ever get bored of race cars? You're at the racetrack all week, working Daytona, and then you come here and race." And I was like, "No." He's like, "Man, I ran speed weeks one week, and I didn't want to look at a race car for like a month."
Yeah, no, it just fuels my fire, So I enjoy it. But yeah, there's major differences in the two divisions, And I think we talked about this at dinner the other night. For years and years, I raced in very competitive and won a lot of races, and I was all I wanted to do was win. That's that's my whole life was constantly work on the race car and win races. And it took many, many, many years for me to kind of like find some peace in not winning. Because Molly will tell you I was terrible. I couldn't talk to me all the way home, and she'd say couldn't talk to me until like Wednesday, because I was pissed, And if I ran third, I was pissed. So finally, I was able to find a little peace and just run, just enjoy racing, and because it becomes a money game and it becomes a vicious cycle where you stop enjoying what you're doing, and so I found some peace in it, and then the '88 car comes along, and I got to win again, win a championship, and oh boy, it all started coming back up again. I could feel the competitiveness coming back, and then with Dylan, who just took off like a bolt of lightning when you got like a lightning rod in a race car. So if you come down in the pits, you may see that young fiery guy that I once was, because we want to win.
Sure.
We don't want to run fifth.
Right.
We didn't come there to run fifth. We still have to tell ourselves this is fun. We're having fun. We've got to have some fun with this. But that's our goal is to go out there and run. Put it in victory lane. So Dylan and I both have that fire, and so when we look at each other, we're like, we gotta fix this shit.
Right.
We don't want to run fifth. We want to be up front. We want to be leading. I'm not used to seeing Dylan not leading the race. I'm used to seeing him up front.
Well, your last two truck races, you've had about a top 5 truck.
That's
and it to me, it's been really fun watching you out there racing. I know, your past race, you were saying, well, I dodged a lot of cars, but in the video we'll show, you actually, took some cars down. You passed them. It wasn't just because they gave up or something like that, but nobody out there was giving up.
No, it was all take.
Yeah, they were racing hard.
Yeah, from the front to the back, and that's what you want to see as a spectator. And that's what we want to see as competitors. We don't want to just go out there and beat 3 or 4 or 5 trucks. We want to be the top of the heap.
Yep.
So that's kind of how I look at it, approach it. And I still, we come home and we said, well, I got a chance to watch the video, and I said, well, we didn't do that bad, So I did kind of mellow a little bit. So I'm getting softer in my old age. But boy, at the racetrack, I am all business. I am all business.
Can you answer to any of that?
Yeah. How is Dylan on the way home? See, you guys get a chance is he, as Molly would say, like I was?
I know when he's not terrible.
Right.
It's understandable how he feels if he's not where he anticipated he would be or where he wanted to be. But I know he needs his time to cool down. And I understand that. So.
So he's a better version of me then. That's what it is. So he can learn.
Or I'm just better at hiding it.
Well, you can learn from my you can learn from my mistakes, and I've tried to be as transparent as I can about racing, and the ups and the downs and the haves and the have-nots, but that's the whole thing. I think in a nutshell is try to find peace in what you're doing. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because Dylan, we get a chance to run all these racetracks, all these different divisions. Most people don't ever have that opportunity.
Yeah.
So sometimes we just have to stop and go.
Yeah, even when I get out of the car and I'm upset, when I'm on the racetrack, I'm the most at ease.
Yeah. I think I was madder than you were at the truck race.
Yeah, we
Can
were.
you say that? I was pretty much. Yeah.
You were
So
over the top.
I'll take that. It was me.
Yeah.
It was me. I was amped up.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, in your defense, it is nerve-wracking watching him.
Yeah,
So-
after this past weekend, I understand.
Well,
we're
we're going to get to that. We're going
Yeah.
to get to that, and I maybe that was a nice segue to what we're going to talk
Yeah.
about. But it is when I see trucks working on you, and I know it's like, man, it makes me. I get amped.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to see you out there leading the race by 5 or 6 or 7 or maybe a straightaway. I don't care, and not have the pressure on you. But you're right there, just in the trenches, rubbing and elbows up, just digging. So it's definitely enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
After the races.
Yes,
After
absolutely.
we bring it home in one piece.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, I think there would be times where if you sense he's getting aggravated, then you're getting aggravated because you might be feeling, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you may be thinking, I haven't done enough.
Right. What did I miss?
Yeah.
Where am I off here? Why are we not pulling away? Why are we holding our own but not pulling? Why are they pulling away from us? So that's constantly running through my mind, and we're racing all the time in our heads, whether we're at the track or whether we're on the way home or whether we in this podcast or driving home from this podcast. We're thinking all the time, how do we get that much better? How do we do that with a budget? What can be done?
Right.
And so we're constantly, learning. Mr. Levant, the 99, gave us some ideas. We bounced some stuff off him, and he was a little transparent about what he's doing. We can always try it. If we don't like it, we can always go back.
Sure.
That's the thing with racing, and to utilize those test dates. When they offer them for a reasonable amount of money, we need to go out there and utilize them. We all have full-time jobs, and we're trying to do that too. But it does help. It
Right.
does. So, moving forward, that's our goal, and we've spoke with Bobby Blake and got some ideas on the truck that we want to try, and we're gonna try them. Because we're not moving forward now. We're steadily, maybe moving a little bit backwards. We had from a 2nd to 3rd place truck to now a 4th, 5th, or 6th place truck. So we've got to get that better.
Right.
We've got to move forward.
Well, and I know during that race, we were talking about the call, bringing in, not bringing in. Like I said, I think it was a good call to bring it in. What do you think, Jordan? Was that a good call to bring the truck in?
I think so, yeah.
Why do you think that?
I mean, like he was saying, there was only, 4 laps left? I mean...
It was towards the end of the race.
Yeah.
It was towards the end, and we lost all the track position.
Yeah.
If he could have stayed up there and if he could have got the track position back, that would have been, we could have did a green flag stop and get you back up there. But we'd have had to go the longest line, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And I don't think we lapped anybody that I'm aware of. There may have been a couple
Really?
trucks off,
Yeah.
but we wouldn't have been in contention to
Yeah.
gain.
And then, like you said, would have had to try to pass 12 cars in 4 laps
and that's
cautions.
Yeah, you don't want desperation kind of driving. You want to be able to, pick them off, and so. No, I think it was, I wasn't happy about it, but it was the right thing to do, and we brought it back in one piece, and we brought it back for our hot shoe driver.
That was my point.
Right.
She kind of went a different way with that, but
yeah, I didn't really think about that, but yeah, I was nervous watching that race. Not doubting you, just the unknowns. So.
Plus, you wanted that truck to come back in one piece, right?
I did want it in one piece, yes.
And why is that?
So I could take it out myself. So, yeah.
And this was this past weekend.
Yep.
At the Powder Puff.
15 laps of just all of us gals out there, no experience. So.
No experience, no practice, no racing experience,
No,
nothing.
Right. And for the folks that don't know, the Powder Puff was usually done once or twice a year, and it's the girlfriends or the sisters or the family members, the wives, driving their significant other's race car, and it was always wide open to whatever they wanted to bring out there. But I mean, you got to understand that they're not technically race car drivers; they're our family members driving our car.
Right.
So the rub is watching us how nervous we are about. Because Molly drove my car years ago in the Sportsman, and she was doing pretty good, and she'll tell you the story. But she realized she was going to get lapped, and she just gassed it as hard as she could gas it, and that thing swapped ends with her. And she come off of turn 2, and she made maybe 2 360s. Ended up down on the inside wall. She didn't hit it. She didn't hurt herself with the car, but she was discombobbled about how it transpired. So that's kind of the whole mystique of that race is they have a good time watching the men be really nervous about their race cars, and the gals having a good time driving the crap out of them. But it was during the event with the Enduro, Demolition, Powder Puff, and what else? And Burnout Contest.
Yeah.
That was last weekend. So
definitely a fun night. Just full of stuff happening.
she literally had 0 laps on the truck.
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
we did have her driving around the parking lot so she could know where the gears were.
Right.
And she could kind of feel the clutch and how it feels to pull off and everything. We asked Rusty, any practice? And Rusty's like, oh, no practice. So they had to go out there cold, just,
Yeah.
So my advice was just do what feels right. Just don't drive over your head. Just the truck will take care of you if you take care of it. And you want to go on from that?
Yeah, well, he teased me with the idea of driving the truck when we basically first started dating each other. And I was like, haha, yeah, right, whatever. Driving one of your cars, right, not gonna happen. Got closer and closer. He's like, all right, so we're gonna do this, right? I was like, okay. Week of the race. Why did I say yes? It just kept going through my head. And every day I got more and more nervous. But not that I didn't trust the truck. With these guys working on it, it's just the unknowns again. Never been on that track before.
Well, you have before in your little BMW.
Oh, that's
right.
How did that compare?
Yeah, I forgot about that because
she
during
drive the track.
Yeah, during
wet,
during a big rain delay, they asked if any of the personal vehicles we wanted to come out, and she took her what is it, an
No, not an M.
Z3,
Not
not
an M.
an
Yeah,
M.
just a
My
Z3.
bad. It's a little BMW, like a little kind of like a sporty car,
Yeah.
And you made some laps.
Yeah, doesn't even compare.
You were like way faster in the truck.
Yeah, it doesn't even compare. Well, to be fair, when we were driving off the track, all these big lifted trucks are out there, and I'm like, I'm gonna get squashed by somebody. So it was kind of a reverse this weekend, I guess. I was the truck.
you were the big truck.
That was a lot of fun, though. I was told by our boss a couple days before, sitting on pit road is the worst. And boy, was he right. I was so thankful to have you down there with me.
Yeah. Well, That's what I do that for Dylan also, because I know how it feels, and it is the worst because your anxiety, you just want to go.
Yep.
You don't want to sit there any longer than you have to, and it just seems like time just stops and it just drags on. So I figured if I would be there, if you needed a push start, if it didn't stop, whatever you may need it, I just wanted to just vent, I would be there, and I do the same for him. Now that he kind of uses it as his meditation time, but he can look over and he knows I'm there. So I know it. When I was driving all the time, I like to have somebody there, because if I can just, now we can talk to each other, but we didn't have radios back in the day. So if you had an issue, you needed to, I don't know, grab my glove, I dropped it down here, or the car won't start, or stuck in gear, or whatever, at least you can yell to somebody.
Yeah.
So I figured it would be some sort of comfort. So I'm glad that helped. But what was your expectation? I know we talked about this before the podcast, so I kind of know what you're going to say, but just think back. The first time he said, "Okay, you're going to drive the truck." What was your expectation? What did you? Was it win, or checkers or wreckers, or was it just don't wreck my boyfriend's truck? Was it, a little in between?
All the above.
Right.
I definitely didn't want any scratches on that thing because I knew he wouldn't say anything, but I know he'd be thinking, "Damn it, I gotta fix something else." Or I don't know. I wanted to be safe. I didn't want to cause anything with the other girls. I wanted to have fun, but I wanted to win for sure.
Well, there you go.
There was a little pressure from myself and all that. But
that's the difference. That's the difference. Right there. Just what she said is some folks are just good with just going out there and making laps, and some folks just really want to win.
Right.
And
do you remember your first time?
My first time racing?
Racing, yeah.
I do remember it.
Do you remember that point like she had sitting on pit road for the first time?
I wasn't that nervous my first race. My first time driving, we did a couple practices before I got to race it. And my first time going to practice it, I'm trying to drive it on a pit road, and my leg was shaking so bad that I couldn't even push the clutch in and get rolling.
Were your legs shaking?
No.
He was so
really?
mad because I kept stalling it. and then I remember I was sitting there, and Matthew Jarrett, actually, I don't know if he did it on purpose to mess with me or if he just did it. He pulled in front of me kind of sideways, so it was really hard for me to get out of the box because they wanted to roll me first. So I kept stalling it because I was trying to turn the wheel too much, and it was a big mess. But when I got onto the racetrack, it's a lot easier being on the racetrack than waiting on pit.
That's what Jordan said too. Yeah.
I remember the first truck race. He was upset. He felt he wanted to be on the board, 16 on P1, and he was physically upset about it. And I said, "What's the matter with you?" And he says, "We're not fast." And I said, "Dude, you're 12th out of 24 trucks." And I said, "Your first go round." I thought you were going to be just out here. I didn't expect him to be in the top, half of the field.
Yeah.
His first ever race. He reminds me, he says, "Dad, I wasn't even driving a stick when I put me in a race car." He didn't know how to. He had to learn how to drive stick in a race car.
Well, drive anything. I was 14 my first couple practices, and then when I raced, I eventually was 15. But
okay, so
I hadn't driven anything.
So just the will to win is great,
Right.
And my expectations with Jordan was just okay. Just gonna go out there, make some laps, get a feel for it, And I felt like if she just did that, I would be okay. Now, of course, in the back of my mind, I want to win because we just had that conversation, remember? So when she took off on the outside, I started screaming just like it was Dylan. I said, just go. So she did. And you want to take us from the green? Can you remember? I'm sure your dad will post some race footage.
Yeah.
Taking that green for the first time, how did that feel?
Well, it was kind of crazy because I've always heard Dylan talking about when you're out there, you're thinking, but you're not. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of like, it's not you anymore. You're just, it's hard to describe. You really have to feel it. But I finally understood what he was talking about, and something in you just kind of takes over, and you just do what feels right, like what you told me. And
just hammer down.
it just happened. I don't really remember everything that happened during it, but I remember like sitting on pit road and after. That's the most of what I remember.
So now Joe got a chance to feel kind of how I felt, and still do a lot of times. You know, there's times I'm more calm than others, but the anxiety that a father feels for their son or daughter out there racing, you know, you're wound tight.
It's intense.
You're wound tight.
Yeah, I was okay, actually, throughout the whole thing up until she got in the car, and once she settled in the car, she looked up at me, and I could see that her eyes had a little bit of concern in them, and that's what got me.
Well,
and I just nodded and winked at her. And
when I sent the picture of Dylan in his little Superman shirt,
yeah,
that's what I see when I see my kid in a race car. I don't see the young adult. He's still my kid. He's still my baby.
Right.
So like you have that. You have that fatherly instinct that's like and so you get wound up. You get wound up. And Mark Bell said it. They should have had a camera on the fathers and Dylan and of course Molly and all the fans that came out, the NASCAR Racing Experience family team members that came out to support, because she drove it, and I'm more than happy. I couldn't be any prouder to see that truck go to the front. So we kid now with Dylan. She got it in victory lane.
Yeah.
But
well, and listening to the Speedway video, I think Ryan let you have it there a little bit.
Yeah. Ryan got you.
Everybody let me have it. Yeah.
Ryan got you. So now he's just known as Dylan's boyfriend.
Dylan's boyfriend.
George's
boyfriend.
boyfriend. Yeah.
So, from the very first lap, when did you really feel that you're kind of confident now? You feel it coming to you. When did you start getting that?
Probably around like second or third, just because I was really worried about how the truck was going to handle, because I didn't know if it was going to try to step out from under me or if it was going to be hard to turn. I didn't know. So once I finally got around there a couple times, I was like, okay, I can put my foot down now.
So basically, once you got the feel for the truck itself.
Yeah,
okay.
How did it feel? Because not that we have an astronomical amount of horsepower, but I think the fastest thing you've ever driven is your BMW. I don't know how much horsepower it has, but now you're into the 300s, and how did that feel compared to driving?
Fun as hell. Fun as hell. That was another part of why I was so. Oh, why am I saying yes to this? I don't know how to handle that, but no, it's not as bad as I thought.
So when did you start putting it to the floor?
When I was starting to get my confidence. It doesn't really look like it in the video, but sure felt like I was going for it.
You were moving pretty good.
I think by lap 3.
I was going to say second or third lap.
Yeah, I think by lap 3, you started to see you could catch the lead car.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you, it just looked to me like once you've seen that you can catch that car, you just kind of went to work, chopping wood, and just focus on that. And then your fear kind of goes away, does it not?
It does.
The fear goes away, and now you're
so focused on
you're
one
driven.
task,
You got this. I got to get there. I got to get there. But how did it feel when you passed them and you had the lead? Because that's when your mind can start really, messing with you. I say this because back when I did win, I haven't won in a minute, but when I did win, I had a succession of winning each week, and I caught myself thinking what I was going to say in the interview, and I missed my marks. And I think I was racing with, it was Barbara Pierce at the time, and boy, she closed up the gap. And next thing you know, now there is a race on my hands. I didn't have that cushion. I had to really get back. So, were you able to stay focused, laser focused, or did your mind kind of start wandering?
because of the traffic we had out there, which was unexpected, and I'm so glad that we did have that many girls out there. But because of that traffic, I forced myself. I was like, okay, I can't let go of what I'm doing right now.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause you had a couple of them that raced you pretty good.
I
on
did.
Traffic. Yeah, you got pushed up to the wall
I
one
think,
time.
I
Scared the
think
shit out
if
of
the
me.
ground pounder would have been running a little bit better, that would have been a tough.
That would have been the
a-
class of the field
A
right
tough
there,
one
yeah.
to beat. So,
Yeah.
I heard some grumblings. We didn't interact with it too much, but listen, it's the powder puff.
I was told
It's the powder puff.
that if we're crazy enough to bring a super late,
Yeah, I
model,
mean,
it's game
they
run.
used to do
Yeah.
that. Anyone was going to put their wife or daughter or sister or whatever they wanted to do. They couldn't have any racing experience, and it was open for all divisions.
And I
So
think
if
it
you
should
want to
be,
put
yeah.
if you want to put your loved one in a super late model and risk it,
Yeah.
hey, it's your car.
Yeah.
Some of them back when Molly ran, those girls were pretty darn tough.
Yeah.
But anyways, nevertheless, we're very thankful they did open it up to the pro trucks, I'm sure they wouldn't have bitched if they would have outrun her.
Yeah, absolutely.
We happened to be on the winning end of that, so that's racing.
And that Acura gave her a pretty good run for her money.
Yes.
She had to work to pass her, and corner speed wise, they were very similar.
Right.
So.
Right.
Well, and actually, you had to pass them twice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you actually went up high through 3 and 4, and they came around, so you had to get them again.
Yeah, 3 and 4 is not my strong suit by far. But I have a question.
Well, you
for
didn't tag the wall, so that's good.
For me,
Yeah, I got close, but it didn't. Yes, for you. I know how I feel watching you
yeah.
weekend after weekend, and it's exhausting. So how did you feel watching
It
me?
is so much harder not driving.
Oh, tell me
When
about
we were on
it.
the way
Thank you.
Yeah, when we were on the way to the track, like, when I was helping you, it wasn't that big a deal to me, because I knew what you were going to do. I knew,
Right.
I've seen you race a gazillion times, and I was comfortable with it. So on the way to the racetrack, they're like, oh, are you, like, is it going to be weird not driving? I was like, no, I kind of miss going to the racetrack and not driving. Hell no.
Yeah.
I was fine. We got the truck unloaded, started working on it and stuff. We go to the driver's meeting, and I'd lose it. I didn't let her see it, but I start, like, panicking and, like,
Yeah.
weird feelings I haven't felt before.
Your stomach starts turning and burning
it
for
was,
sure.
Oh,
and
gosh, it was painful.
I'm sure that the Greens, he feels that with Matthew, and the Hells, they both race, but I mean, I'm sure he probably feels that way in Klausers.
Mm-hmm.
He's watched his son and daughter race, so I know that they know what we're going through. And you're right, it's 100 times easier in the race car.
Yeah.
Because I know what I'm going to do when I get in the race car. I know what to expect. I don't have any idea.
Yeah.
What she's going to do. Like when you said when I was telling you to slow down when you're first race. I didn't know if you're going to turn the wheel.
Yeah.
I'm not in the right seat with you like at Petty or whatever. I've seen people get in a race car and they think it's a Disney ride. It's going to just turn itself. It's some work, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to stay on top of it. You can't miss your marks. You got to either get to the brakes or get that nose down and get that weight transferred to the front and get it turned. Then get on the gas smooth as you come off, and so it's an exercise in muscle memory, and once you get it, you got it. But it's difficult for your loved ones to watch you, for sure, family and friends. And I'm sure I heard the people screaming, so I know they were having a good time watching.
Yeah.
You put on a good show, and that's the main thing. And so.
Well, the top of the trailer was definitely rocking. It was going crazy with the guys. So.
Yeah. And you never know you have it won till you get past that checkered flag. So don't ever give up. Even if you're not running up front, racing's crazy. I've seen 2 or 3 cars take each other out, come into checkers, and then you're sitting there running fourth, and bam, now you're the winner. So you can't give up. You just never know.
Yeah, that was another thing. I was coming around and going through traffic, And I was like, man, I am so close. If something happens right now, I'm never going to forgive myself. So just saving myself through the checkered was all I had in mind at that point.
You did a good job parking there in Victory Lane.
Thank you.
Yeah. Dylan showed you where to park, evidently.
Well, backing up a little bit, somewhere along in there, you had quite a bit of confidence, I think, because you were coming down the front stretch, and you went pretty deep into one, and it didn't sound like you let off of it until you reached the end of the grandstand.
Well, I had some fans up there. I had to give us something to entertain.
Well, I think we collectively all went.
Yeah. I think the whole place gasped.
Yeah.
Because they weren't sure if you were going to make that stick.
Yeah, but when you did and you came out, everybody was like, yeah. So that was really cool.
Yeah, I was telling Dylan, don't ever do that again. But yeah, that's the whole enjoyment of it. They're not expected to know what to do. You're not expected to know. So watching you having to figure that out, and all the girls that race having to figure that out makes the race really exciting. And I'm sure Dylan probably had small heart attacks, but he made it through.
Yeah,
he made it through. But you did a great job. Put that thing in Victory Lane, and just like a pro, and great pictures that Jim took, and we'll post some pictures, I'm sure. And so,
well, tell me about the pass in the grass.
Do we have to talk about that?
I was wondering,
everybody's seen it.
I was wondering about that because in 3 and 4 you're using the high side, and it looked like nobody wanted to be up there with you, so you kind of had a lot of that to yourself. But 1 and 2. Seemed like you wanted to be as low as you possibly could.
Yeah, I just felt like 1 and 2 kind of, I don't want to say forces you, because it really doesn't, but it just kind of caters to you going deep into there. And then 3 and 4, I'm just not comfortable. I think with more time, I'll figure out what I'm doing wrong. But yeah, I just couldn't get low in 3 and 4.
Well,
so
you made it stick.
Yeah.
You had to go in the grass a little bit. You had the left sides off into the dirt.
It's hard to see on the right side of that thing. I mean, it's a full containment seat, and it's just, there's a lot blocking your vision on the right. So I saw that there was another girl beside me, and I was like, oh crap, she's really close. No,
I don't think you touched
into the
her.
grass, but
No, she didn't.
Yeah.
no. Didn't want to hit anybody, so I was like, you know what, grass is a better option here. Sorry.
it's all right. I kind of expected it, the mud puddle, moving it around the shop.
Okay.
Oh yes, that's right.
He won't give that up.
That's right.
I was driving around.
Yeah, she hit a mud puddle at the shop, just moving the truck to load it.
Yeah.
And she went right through it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I offered to clean it. Just for the record.
So do you have aspirations of doing it again?
Sure.
So like, would it be a powder puff thing, or do you want to try to do it more on a, because once you get more than a couple of races, you can't do the powder puff no
right.
more. You're considered a legit driver at that point. Mm-hmm. So not that you're not a driver, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Officially, you're a driver.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I wouldn't mind going out there for real.
Okay.
So.
There you go, Dylan.
Got my new driver.
Yeah, Joe's saying no.
I don't know if I could go through that again. I don't know.
So, do you guys race go-karts? Have you guys raced?
We haven't had a
other?
chance to go go-karting yet.
Okay.
Every single time I've wanted to go go-karting, she's usually not feeling it. But
Okay.
she's got her own helmet now. She's
right.
I know you're gonna walk me like nobody's business.
Well,
I
maybe
don't know.
not.
I don't know.
You showed me how to put the truck in Victory Lane, so
Yeah, I don't know.
we'll see.
You both have that will to that desire to win, because that's what it takes. You could have just been scared and drove around the bottom,
Yeah.
and still nobody would have been any, still would have congratulated you because you got it around the racetrack.
Didn't freeze.
But,
that's what I was really nervous about, was her getting into the car and just panicking and, like you said, not turning the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Well, if you remember, after the drivers' meeting, I was leaning up against the truck, just trying to collect my frantic thoughts, because it was about to be go time, and I was like, okay. But you came up to me and you were like, if you want to back out, now's your chance. And I thought about it for a split second, and then I was like, I can't. I got to do it.
Yeah.
So And I'm glad I did.
Yeah,
So.
I think we all.
Yeah, and congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. And
So,
here's what we got. We brought home the
Yeah,
hardware.
got some hardware. You have more hardware than a lot of racers out there, just so you know.
and that's a really cool trophy with
It is.
the armadillo on there. And
Yes. Oh, and the pictures are awesome too.
Yeah.
The picture with the armadillo. So
Yeah,
that
Jim
was
Jones
good.
did really good with the pictures that he took of you in the car,
Yes, thank you.
waving the flag and
Yeah.
everything.
I thought the whole event was great.
It was. It was.
I know when I
And let's not to cut you off,
Go
but
ahead.
I also want to mention that the race was caution free.
Yeah.
it was.
It was a clean
Yes.
race.
Yes,
So
yes.
congratulations to
All
all
the-
the ladies
all
out
the-
there.
But yeah, by technicality, every single race went caution free that night.
Yeah.
The
It's
enduro
very
went
unusual.
caution free. The powder puff went caution free.
right. You know,
Yeah,
it
I
was-
can't. I don't.
I was
know I've
going
ever
to
seen
say that coming up, going to New Smyrna my whole life, they used to do demolition derbies and enduros on at least, I don't know, 2 or 3 times a year from what I can remember. I always enjoyed that as a kid. And they did it on the front stretch, the demolition derbies. Now they don't do it so it doesn't tear up the tarmac, the pavement.
Right.
They do it on the pit road. But that was always, and they used to do, they had a guy jump in with his motorcycle. They had the Green Mamba there. They always would have something going on throughout the year other than just the hardcore racing. And it kind of brings in, the fans that, enjoy some of that. There's
Sure.
a little bit of crashing. And they like to see that crashing and whatnot. But the Enduros was pretty cool, So I'd love to get an Enduro car. I just
Yeah,
got to talk to Curtis, Zachary
Curtis.
Curtis, figure out which cars to
Yeah,
get because
yeah.
those things are. There's
Pretty
definitely
quick,
a
yeah.
difference in some of
Yeah.
those cars,
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy it. That'd be kind of fun.
I really wanted to get one for this year, but
We got
Like we
too
said,
much,
you
we
got
got
too much going
We got
on.
too much shit.
Yeah.
I mean, we got too many race cars at the moment. So,
Yeah.
but that would be something down the line. It'd be pretty cool to do, and that's something you guys could do together.
yeah, I said we need to get 2 of them and race each other. That's
Might
what I
be
said.
dangerous.
So
I wonder if they'd ever do a enduro where they swap out drivers.
That'd be kind of cool.
I don't know, but I do remember that they used to turn those cars around. So like they would start like say going the right direction, then they would bring them down pit road, and they would have to go the opposite direction.
Oh, wow.
So you couldn't set the camber.
Yeah, you can
camber.
set
You
up
had to
your car,
keep it. You had to
yeah.
keep it pretty equal. And boy, they used to have tons.
They
of
did
them.
a chicane one year.
I don't remember the chicane.
2 years ago, they did a chicane on the backstretch. I
But
think.
the dirt used to have 5,000 to win at Volusia. And but they weren't really for Ford. They were more like Camaros and Monte Carlos and stuff like that.
Right.
But it had to be an enduro style car. It couldn't be a full race car. It had to be just a cage, stock spring, stock shocks, stock motor, whatever. And that was big. I mean, they did. I think it was Volusia, Ocala. I don't think they ever did it in Putnam that I remember. But yeah, the enduros is a nice way for like novices to kind of get involved in racing, and then you got some guys that really are more on the semi-pro level. They know what they're doing with the cars and which cars to get. And but yeah, it's pretty cool, and they don't throw a caution in enduro.
Yeah.
Unless if there is someone in peril, they throw a red.
Right.
Get the person out, then they have to stop. Everyone has
Yeah.
to stop where they're at
I remember
and then carry on.
last year there was a car stopped on the front stretch,
Yeah.
and they were going nose to tail, and the one guy moved out at the last
That's
second.
right.
The other car didn't see it and like launched
That's right.
off of him. And
That's
flipped.
right. That was a big
Oh,
wreck.
man.
Yeah.
And like fluids on the racetrack, you still got to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going around running good, and next thing you know, you're spinning because you hit someone's someone blows a transmission or something like that. So it's really up to chance, on that. But I mean, there's a few guys that kind of have it down to a science. But yeah, I really did enjoy that night. The track should do some more stuff like that, in my opinion.
Sure.
So
Yeah, it was fun.
yeah,
Well,
so
any last words?
I want to thank the NRE crew for coming out and supporting me. I love you all so much, and also family members, friends, everything like that. So that was something special.
you made everybody proud for sure. Done a great job. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. All right. Well,
Sportsman next week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sportsman.
Might have a new driver.
No.
Rick hasn't decided yet.
Yeah, so we'll be out there. Friday is a test session,
Yep.
so we're going to do our best to be out there. Dylan has to go to Homestead.
Yep.
Do some ride driving at the big Homestead Speedway, but he'll be back in time for that. I'll have everything ready to go. And
It's a busy week for me.
yes, hopefully the weather stays away. I'm not really sure.
It's bad luck to look at it.
Haven't looked at it too much, but try to stay ahead of it, But yeah.
well, with that, Jordan, you want to wave the checkered flag?
Sure.
Yep.
It's your turn.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. And once again, don't forget to check out Fans of Dylan LeBeau, the group, and what else do you have there?
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Just look up Dylan LeBeau or LeBeau Racing.
Yeah.
Check us out there.
I'm sure a search will bring you up easy.
Yep.
So, all right. With that,
Race hard, race clean. Go out and support your local racing. These kids are the future of racing, so let's get behind them.
absolutely. Thank you, everybody.
Loki Dog.